So Jess, do you like using credit cards, or is it more of a cash person, or...
Credit cards work.
Why are you looking at me?
Over?
So you like using my credit cards?
Other people's credit card. I'm just improving your credit.
There you go. It doesn't matter if you're new to Canada, new to credit, or just want to improve your credit score. Credit cards are one of the best ways to do that, and we go through how to do it properly without messing it up. When you were growing up, were credit cards a bad thing or a good thing? Did you?
I don't know. My parents didn't really talk to me about...
You fell asleep when they were talking about credit cards? When you had the credit talk?
I honestly don't know. I know that my mom was saying when I was like maybe 18, she was like, you need to get a credit card, but really, I don't know.
Other than that?
Yeah.
So credit generally, or credit cards, kind of, it depends on how you grew up or kind of your thought belief. Some people think they're really bad. But when it comes to credit, they are one of the best ways to improve your credit and keep your credit active and strong over the long term. So we're going to go through Credit Card 101. Now, if it freaks you out thinking of a credit card, or you're worried about the temptation, trying to remember the minimum payment, or just the headache of it all, then I do have links down below that we did about how to have credit but not have any of the temptation or headache that comes around with it.
Okay.
So you can check that out. But today, in this episode, we are going to go through Credit 101. So the first one.
Major bank.
Any thoughts on that? Why a major bank would be better than a non-major bank for a credit card?
I don't know. Does it build your credit better? I don't know.
So you might think that it has better interest rates, but on a credit card...
No, I literally didn't think that.
You might have thought that the interest rates were better, and that's why. But when it comes to credit cards, it's really no difference between non-major bank, major bank. Generally, they're pretty similar, that 20%, so stupid high. Mm-hmm. But the reason why a major bank credit card is the best place to start, if you can, is because underwriters, when you're looking to apply for other types of credit, they would prefer to see credit cards with a major bank.
Okay.
It's just more prestigious. So that's...
It's like going for the brand name versus the generic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of the brand is already there.
Yeah.
And they know that it's sometimes harder to get qualified for, so that's the reason why.
Okay.
If you can't get approved with a major bank, let's say you've tried and it got declined for whatever reason, then there are secured credit cards for one. So the major bank may offer you secured credit cards.
Can anybody get a secure credit card?
No, it's more difficult than you would expect. Oh. So if you're new to Canada or just starting out, then secure credit cards might be an option.
Yeah.
But if you are trying to rebuild your credit, most likely the major bank will not approve you for a secured or unsecured credit card. That leaves you with the non-major banks to get started.
Okay.
I have a link below with a list of all the different credit rebuilding products or types of secured or unsecured credit card.
So a secured credit card, that's the same as like a prepaid one. Wait, no, I know this. This is stupid. No, I'm not asking your question.
I fed her a question and so answer the question.
No, they're not the same. No, it's not going to build your credit. Oh my goodness.
I have a link to the video of what we did, the difference between prepaid and secure credit cards. If glad she's awake now. All right, what's the next one?
Always a low balance.
As we've already discussed, credit cards can be tempting, and the balance is extremely important when it comes to your credit.
Okay.
And especially on a credit card. So controlling your credit card is important, and it's a myth that you have to have a high balance in order to have good credit. So the opposite is true. The lower that balance is, the better it is for your score.
But you need to have a high credit limit, right? Like, you can't get best rates if you only have a $500 credit card.
That is true. So there's other episodes that go into what's kind of the ideal. If you can get it around that 2,500, that's the ideal.
Okay.
But the balance is key to always keep it under half of the limit. Some people have different limits or suggestions on that.
Yeah.
The lower it is, the better. So I don't really care which one as long as it's low. But we do have links to another episode we did on the whole balance.
So then using cash would be probably better.
Yeah, you could use cash or debit more often if you're having trouble keeping that balance low. Okay. But the key is keep it low at all times, always throughout the month.
Always.
So, always.
Pay right away.
Have you ever heard of a grace period?
Like for credit?
Yeah.
No.
What were you thinking of? What's another grace period?
Like a return policy. Like you have a grace period of you can return it within 2 weeks or whatever.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But for all of those who have not read their credit card agreement.
Is this your nighttime reading?
That's what puts me to bed.
Okay.
Grace period is the time between when your credit card is charged and the time the interest starts being calculated. In Canada, it's generally between the 20 or 25 days that you have as a grace period before you get charged the stupid high interest rates.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So if you buy something on your credit card, what you're saying is if you buy something on your credit card, you need to pay it off within that 25 days. Otherwise, you're going to be paying interest on it.
So that's the first part. So that is good for just because you don't want to pay 20% interest rate on it.
Right.
I suggest paying right away. And the reason why is because there's a lot of myths out there that you should wait until your statement comes out. That's not true. You do not have to wait for your statement to come out in order to pay. You can get the charge on one day and have it come out the next day.
Okay.
All right. In my experience, those that wait to pay are generally the ones that get caught with late payments or high balances, which lower your score.
Okay.
So pay right away, then it's done, over with, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Next.
Once is enough.
Once is enough. So with this principle, the reason why I put it in there is because we're brainwashed to believe that the more you use a credit card, the better it is. That is not true. Use it once or 100 times throughout the month, and it affects the score the exact same way.
Oh, okay.
So
just having like an automatic payment come out once a month.
Yep.
And it keeps you below that balance and it helps build your credit.
So yes, you do not have to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
You do not have to put everything on there and then remember to pay it off. You can just put the one transaction on there once a month, and that is good enough to keep it active. If you want to use it more, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You just got to remember, once again, the balance is key. So the more you use it, the more you have to pay it off or more stress to keep that balance low. Next.
Don't close.
There's the temptation to upgrade once you have a credit card. They'll call you, say, hey, upgrade for new points, travel, get this new card. Or maybe you signed up with an annual fee once and now you don't want it. Whatever the case may be, just know that if you close a credit card, it dramatically lowers the score. And we do have an episode in detail about the dangers of that because it's not common sense. But in Canada, really important that you know that closing a credit card can dramatically lower your score. 80, 60, 100 points.
So crazy.
It can be a lot.
Yeah.
So watch that episode before you close anything.
2 is better than 1.
Yes. 1 credit card is good, but 2 is better. And
so 2 with major banks, correct?
That's the ideal.
Okay.
So if you get at least 2 with major banks, that's really the ideal. There's some risk, once again, associated. If you can't control 1 credit card, you're not going to be really out of control with 2. So if you're just starting out, you might want to just get 1 card first to see if you can control everything. Like I said, there's another episode that goes through how you can build your credit or use credit cards without the temptation or the headache of keeping the minimum payments, paying on time. but having 2 credit cards is ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's it. It's time for review. What did you learn today?
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding. I learned something from each of the points.
Good.
So
So just rewatch
it.
What did you learn? But that's good. Hopefully next time maybe we'll go through some Credit 102, some advanced strategies. I don't know if there is, but there's lots of resources in the show notes or down below. And if not, we will see you next week or next time, next video, whatever.
If you have any other questions or want to learn more,
you can check out any of our social media and the links in the show notes or the more information down below. And we would be happy to go through it with you in more detail.